It can be a really powerful tool for communication because it gives everybody a language to talk about what's really important. And it also empowers the employees throughout the organization to sort of call the company out and call the leaders out when they don't think they're living the core values of the company. That's really powerful, and it's really valuable if your core values really speak to the truth of what you really value. So this is the mission statement that we came up with. Blizzard Entertainment, dedicated to creating the most epic entertainment experiences ever. And I love this. I think it's great. I think it scales because no matter how great our games are, they can always be better. And then getting onto our 8 core values, we have 8 of them, but the very first one is gameplay first. And all of you who are gamers, and I think you all are, know how important this is innately. I think that a lot of the guys maybe on the business side of things don't innately know how important this is. But this gives you language to talk to them about that and say, look, it's all about the gameplay. That's why people are buying our games in the first place. That's why it's important that we make sure our games are good and they're ready when we launch them, so their first experience is positive, so they tell their friends, because that will translate into better marketing than we'll ever be able to buy. Next is commit to quality, which is something that I think it's very important for us to do as a company, to commit to the quality of our games. But I think it's also something that each individual needs to do, because quality just doesn't happen at a company level. It happens at the individual level, and it really shows when the entire development team is committed to the quality of the experience. And I think you guys know that when you think about your own companies and how important it is that each individual is looking to elevate the quality of whatever it is you're trying to create, right? It can't just be centralized. Play nice, play fair. Okay, when you're playing a game, you know how important this is to the experience, to how fun it is. When you're working on a team, you know how important it is to the quality of the team, right? You want people to interact with respect with each other. I think it's also important at a corporate level, at a company level. Okay, you guys are, you get together, you do these things. I think you probably all have a lot of friends in the industry. You're also potentially competitors with one another. You will all be stronger if you play nice, play fair in your competition with each other. And you will also develop lasting relationships and friendships that who knows what kind of dividends those will pay in the future. This is the kind of company that we want to be. It's the kind of company that we want to work with, and I think it's really important. I think that sometimes it gets forgotten and lost. Embrace your inner geek. This is the one of all of our values that we have the most difficult time translating, because there's not a good word for geek in all languages apparently. But I think that it really speaks to passion. It really speaks to, why do people join Blizzard in the first place? They join Blizzard because they understand what we're trying to accomplish and they want to be part of it, and because they're gamers, they're geeks. They grew up as geeks, and geek isn't necessarily something that makes you popular at school, but I think it's something that you can leverage to be extremely successful in the real world. And you guys all know that. I saw all those really awesome experiments at the beginning of today's talk. So anyway, embrace your inner geek and leverage that into the things you're creating, and the players will notice. They will notice because there's so much depth that couldn't have been designed by a single person, because everybody embraced their inner geek and channeled it and put it into the end product. Every voice matters. This is one of my personal favorites, and I think something that sets Blizzard apart from a lot of companies. And that is, I think it's a moral imperative for every person at Blizzard to speak up about things that they think could be better. I think that our community does this without us asking them to. I think you can just go up onto our forums and they're acting as if they think every voice matters. And I think we need to act as if every voice matters, because it's actually a gift that they're giving to us, even if they're being critical of the games, their game experience, even if they say, hey, Blizzard, you really screwed this up. You guys totally suck. Here's why you suck. Here's what you should have done differently. They're only saying that because they have high expectations for us, and we didn't meet them somehow. And if we understand that, we can leverage that into making our products even better, rather than being defensive about it, but recognize that, hey, this is coming from the perspective of somebody who wants us to be better. That's actually, they want us to be better. They want us to say, no, you're wrong. Actually, we don't suck. we're actually capable of doing much better. And I think, employees certainly have a vested interest in the company doing well and the products being well, and it's a huge asset to leverage. Think globally. When we first got started, our focus was certainly on the U.S. market. It was the largest gaming market in the world, and that's where most of the players were, but that's not the case today. Today there are more players outside of the U.S. than there are inside the U.S. There's actually more people playing Blizzard games in other languages other than English. In Asia, a lot of people are experiencing our games using different payment methods, using computers that they don't even own because they're going to game rooms in order to play our games. Game room computers are shared by hundreds of people. And so this is a reminder to everybody at Blizzard to recognize that it's not just about the way that we're experiencing our games. We have to think about the global experience, and don't forget about that. It's very important. Lead responsibly is sort of a message to our leaders at Blizzard, because they are role models for the other guys. I think it's also what we tell people at Blizzard is that Blizzard has achieved a level of success that a lot of other companies are looking to us as a role model for the industry, and we want to set a good example. We want to be a good role model for the industry. We want to choose the right path, do the right thing. And then this is the last one, but it's learn and grow. And I think this is a value you guys clearly have, being part of this organization, and recognizing that it's a fast-moving industry. There are new things, new technologies being developed all the time, and it's up to each of us to continue to learn and grow and develop in our individual careers. And then that is my last slide. So I think lastly I will just say thank you for coming out, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Okay guys, we don't have a lot of time, but